Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Good to see all of you here. My name's Dante Rosera. I'm from the Azure Customer Success team, and this is...
Hi, everybody. I'm David Stanford. I'm a Principal Program Manager for the Patterns and Practices team.
Cool. And this session is going to focus on building a strong foundation on Azure based on things that we've learned from working with and observing thousands of customers and what's made them successful when it comes to their cloud adoption. So if you're wondering if you're in the right place, if this is the right session for you, if you're new or new-ish to Azure, I'd definitely stay and listen. I think this will be valuable. But even if you're already doing some significant work in Azure, we've seen that a lot of customers will dive in, which is great, but then later encounter some issues and blockers and challenges, and only then go back and kind of build a strong foundation. And that's totally fine if that describes you. I also think it'd be valuable for you to stay and listen. The way I think about it is when you're building on Azure, it's not exactly like building a house. You can always go back and strengthen the foundation. So that's the kind of stuff we'll talk about here today. So to kick us off, today every organization is really trying to become more digital. And when I think about why that is, it really kind of boils down to two things, and those two things are opportunity and threat. So in every industry, probably in all of your industries, there's digital natives that are trying to disrupt you and challenge you. Maybe you are one of those digital natives. And then there's also established companies that are racing to modernize and digitize. And if you don't adapt, you might be left behind. So that's the threat, quite clearly. And then there's also the opportunity. And this neat graphic here that someone with a lot more PowerPoint skills than myself created shows some of these really great outcomes that digital transformation can have for your organization. So if you think about what this looks like at real companies today, at La Liga, the Spanish football league, they're using conversational AI in their mobile app to engage their fans more effectively. At ExxonMobil, they're collecting and analyzing oil well operations data more efficiently using IoT. Airbus, which some of you might have used to get to Ignite, they're giving their designers and engineers better tools for building the next generation of commercial aviation using mixed reality. And at one of our close partners, Adobe, they're rethinking the way that they do data analytics and campaign management and audience management, combining everything into the Adobe Experience Cloud, which is transforming how companies manage all their digital experiences. And I like all those examples because they're good examples of each of these things, and they're also established companies that are either achieving or maintaining industry leadership through the power of digital transformation. So these numbers also do a good job of capturing the two sides of digital transformation. You've got the tremendous opportunity with the innovation and efficiency and profit, frankly, that it can offer. But then you've also got the threat, of course, with the risk of needing to modernize and offer digital services or potentially become irrelevant or even go out of business in the near term. So the reason why I start here, even though the rest of this session is really going to focus on how to build that foundation on Azure, how to digitally transform, it's important to remember why. And this is the why to me, why it's so important to do these things. And it's important to remember why to do these things because, frankly, change is hard. Digital transformation is going to ask a lot of you and your organizations. And so keeping your eye on the prize is definitely helpful along the way. So then the question becomes how? How do you achieve digital transformation? How do you achieve the benefits of innovation and speed and agility and growth, all the things that we're probably all going for? And balancing that, of course, with the need to stay in control and manage risk and all those things. So we've taken a look at our successful customers and identified three key traits, three key things that they do that have made their Azure adoption so successful and have contributed to their really strong foundation. And so these are really the three things I want to talk to you about today. The first one is aligning your business and people and organization strategy with your technology plans and technology strategy in a consistent way so that you adopt more effectively. I want to talk to you also about training your people and making sure that your people are skilled up to do the kind of work that is demanded of them in this day and age. And then also, I want to talk to you about how to build and manage apps and systems that run on Azure in a way that has governance and reliability in mind so that you stay in control and are prepared for things like change and failure. So let's dive right into the first one on aligning your people and your business and your organization strategy with your technology strategy. So to help with this, we've created something called the Microsoft Cloud Adoption Framework for Azure. Hopefully some of you have now heard about this or maybe been to a session about this already. And so it's intended to really help you accelerate your Azure journey. And when I think about it as, the cloud has so many different ways that you can adopt it. There's so much you can do with it. But really successful organizations approach those choices and make those decisions in a consistent way using a consistent methodology like this. And so we've built this with direct input from hundreds of customers, maybe even some of you in the room. And it's constantly evolving and getting richer over time. And at its heart, it's really about that kind of achieve balance graphic I like on the right there, and it shows the need to balance the need for innovation and growth and agility, all those great things, with, of course, the need to stay in control and manage accordingly. So there's a lot of great content and sessions and things going deeper into this, but at a 10,000-foot view, this is the Cloud Adoption Framework, the process that it lays out. Again, huge amount of variety and outcomes, of course, but a single way to approach it or a methodology, a way to think about it. And so it starts with a define strategy step, which is where you're really laying out the business justification, the outcomes that you're looking for. This is your why. This is why you want to do everything that follows, why you're thinking about adopting the cloud and migrating and innovating there. Then you move into a plan step, which is really where you're preparing your organization and your environment in the cloud for some of the change, and you're thinking about how are you going to actually adopt this? You're thinking about what your prioritized technology projects are going to be. And in the ready step, that's where you start to almost pre-implement is the way I kind of think about it. So you do things like put in place a landing zone, you train your people, you make sure that kind of your operations practices are starting to get in place. And then in the adopt step, that's where you make it real. That's where the implementation actually occurs. And then you iterate. That's why there's that box around it. It's intended to show that once you finish your first project, you go back to your second and your prioritized adoption plan that you put together in the plan step, and you keep going. And then underneath, you can see govern and manage with those kind of arrows extending out, and the reason why it looks like that, along the way, with guidance from our kind of govern and manage steps, you're putting in place strong governance practices and operations practices that make sure that you're still staying in control and having success throughout these projects and as they're running in the cloud. So the Cloud Adoption Framework is more than just documentation. Of course, it is a wealth of documentation that you can check out, but it is also things like tools to make it more consumable, digestible, actionable, and ready-made blueprints and implementation guides so you can put things right in place. It's best practices even built directly into the Azure portal so that you can more easily set up your environment in such a way that aligns to this framework. And we'll demo some of this stuff in just a minute. But first, a really quick story from the UK. This company, Belmont Green, is a mortgage lender there, and they were looking to move to the cloud because they wanted some of the capabilities that it has to offer, some of the security features. And so they partnered with a partner named New Signature, and they used the Cloud Adoption Framework to plan out their adoption strategy and then start moving. And so they put in place a 3-month setup phase where they did some of those earlier steps in the Cloud Adoption Framework. They did workshops and assessments. They put together their skilling strategy. They put in place some strong operations practices. They built out their landing zones and their blueprints. And then when they actually moved into implementation, it only took them 6 weeks to build their first production workload in Azure, which is a data analytics platform that they're using, which is incredibly fast for adoption. And that's kind of the big takeaway from this story for me, is that something like putting in the time to build out the foundation is time well spent, because then your implementations are that much faster and more successful as you go. It's kind of that common foundation. I mean, there's that famous thing that Lincoln supposedly said, that if he had an hour to cut down a tree, he would spend 55 minutes sharpening his axe. And that's kind of the way I think about this story. All right, so now we will show you a couple of these things I've been talking about here. There's the Cloud Journey Tracker, which is intended to help you consume and find key points in the cloud adoption framework. It'll help you find kind of those key blockers and potential issues, areas to focus on, because of course it is a lot of guidance to consume. And then there's also the Azure Quick Start Center, which is that place in the portal where the framework's been built right in and has become very actionable for you to set up your environment in the right way. So I'll turn it over to David for that.
Great. Thanks, Dante. Excellent.
Yep.
Switched over. So to start with, for access to like all of our tooling, you can go to the azure.microsoft.com landing page, just /cloud adoption framework. And then the tooling is all towards the bottom. So we're going to start with the Cloud Journey Tracker, which is hosted by an assessment platform that we just launched this week. It's currently in preview. We have a variety of tools that will be coming up here shortly. In addition to having tools, there's going to be plenty of new features coming to kind of expand how this preview assessment platform works. The link there took you directly to the assessment, so I'll just take you back kind of so you can see what it looks like to the landing page. It has all of your assessments that you've already taken, so you can see I have a few here, just so that in case the internet didn't work, we had some output to look at. And then the available assessments are at the bottom. We launched with 3 to start with. The Cloud Journey Tracker, the Governance Benchmark, and the Azure Architecture Review. We'll talk about all 3 of them here today. Let's see. So in the Cloud Journey Tracker, we are not going to go through all the questions because there's 28. It takes probably like 10, 15 minutes. But at the top here, you can give it a tag so that if you run this against, say, your partner, for example, and you want to run this against multiple of your customers, you can differentiate them very easily in your output. And then you kind of put some company profile information. Some of this isn't used for this assessment. The governance benchmark assessment, for example, uses the industry to do a gap analysis. So some of it's used for some of them, in other places not. As you saw, it auto-filled all of this information. So once you do it once, it will populate it for you. And then as you step into it, today it's very survey heavy. It will give you a variety of questions in a variety of different formats. To start with here, let's say we are currently in our cloud journey, we have successfully deployed a workload. So we'll pick that. And then you just kind of step through it. So I don't think it's super interesting to do this together here. So we'll kind of jump to the end. Let's see. So the Cloud Journey Tracker, the output looks like this. It gives you a customized set of guidance based on the answers that you provided, and it helps you kind of navigate through your whole adoption journey. So as Dante mentioned earlier, there's a variety of stages, and we break out the guidance by stage so that you can easily decide what to work on next based on where you're at today. So that's the Cloud Journey Tracker. Let's jump over to the Quick Start Center really quick. So from the Azure portal, if you wanted to get to the Quick Start Center, you just can type Quick Start Center right there in the top. And then we have a couple things here that are very Cloud Adoption Framework for Azure focused. Let's take a look at the migration guide. So inside all of these Quick Start Centers, there's a set of guidance that kind of links back into the Architecture Center and the Cloud Adoption Framework. And you can walk through this and actually make changes to your account. So let's say you want to estimate and optimize your VM costs. It points exactly how you might want to be looking at this. Gives you Azure Advisor cost recommendations, cost management, and then additional resources. So there's a variety of tools here. It also links into blueprints. You can spin up DevOps infrastructure, things like that to really help you onboard into your cloud adoption journey. Cool. That's about it.
All right, thank you. Great. So Next, I would like to jump into our second section. This is about technical skilling and training up your people to be successful. And so it's no secret, I think, that digital transformation really asks a lot of all of us in terms of developing new skills and capabilities and new ways of thinking. And I like that middle stat up there that the majority of execs really believe that they're going to need to retrain or rehire or reskill in some way a big chunk of their workforce by 2023, so pretty soon. And we've also heard from you that things like training and certification in particular really helps to bring a tremendous amount of value to your organization, that certified individuals are more productive, they're more efficient, they tend to bring more creative solutions to complex technical problems. And so this becomes a major priority, and successful customers really focus on making sure their people are ready and trained up to be able to do the work that we're asking them to do. So in the UK, another UK story, this company, Nature's Sunshine, was in a position that many of you might be, where they were entirely on-prem. They were taking a look at moving to the cloud, specifically to Azure, but they found they had a pretty big blocker in that their people were not trained or skilled on Azure. And so they took a moment and they used something called Microsoft Learn and Pluralsight, which I'll talk more about in just a minute. And they trained up their people, which proved to be a huge accelerator for them, because then they went and performed the migration, and they've developed a new node-based service that they use for their payments processing, which is really core to their operations. And now they estimate they're over a third of the way through their cloud adoption journey. So the big takeaway from that story for me is that training and skilling is going to be one of two things for you. It's either going to be an accelerator or a drag or something that's kind of a blocker. And so obviously successful customers make it the former. And so how do you do that? Some of you may have seen this booth on the show floor, but Microsoft Learn is our technical learning platform that's intended to help you build all the skills you need to have success in the cloud. It's completely free, which is great. And it is composed of hundreds of different learning paths and modules that themselves are composed of small kind of micro-learning step-by-step tutorials. You get really hands-on. I mean, some of it, of course, is reading, but some of it is hands-on in the platform or scripting and coding. Sometimes we'll give you a sandbox environment that you can play around with. And it really is intended to train you in all the ways that you'll need to be successful and ultimately to go on and receive or earn certifications in a bunch of different categories. It's for everybody from beginner to expert. There's something in there for everyone. It's also a good starting point if you are interested in things like hands-on, more customized learning with some of our partners, or things like Pluralsight, self-paced videos that they offer on a variety of topics. You can all get to that from here. So I think this is our one-stop shop for training and learning. So definitely bring them back to your organizations. And again, it all builds into certifications, which, as I said before, is really the best way to prove or validate that your people have the skills to do the job. And as you can see, we offer a lot of different certifications. There's a bunch of different topics. It starts with kind of fundamentals, which is for people with no prior skills or knowledge on Azure, and then it grows into all these different role-based certifications around different topics that you can see. It's constantly evolving over time as there's kind of new needs in the marketplace. And we recently launched a specialized one for SAP workloads. So definitely encourage you to use Learn, get trained up, and then encourage your people to also go on and get certified. It makes such a huge difference. And on to our third and final topic. And this is something we call well-managed and well-operated. And it's really composed of many different things. So the cloud has really fundamentally changed how technology is adopted, managed, and I can think of a lot of different ways. There's the pace of innovation and change is faster than ever before. If you think about a single data center could be built and torn down and rebuilt with single lines of code. And in that kind of a situation, the way that you need to manage your environment really changes. So it requires really rethinking traditional approaches to governance and management. And so well-managed is really all about having a run state that is ideal, that is helping you deliver the business outcomes that you're looking for efficiently, while at the same time, of course, staying in control and prepared for things like change and failure, which are inevitable. So the first of the topics under this category that I want to cover is governance, which is super important. This picture here captures what happens when you take a really traditional on-prem approach and just move it into the cloud with you. And what you have is central IT sitting in the middle, kind of acting as an intermediary or a blocker in many cases between your different teams and the cloud, so that they can't directly access or build in the cloud. They have to go through central IT to do that. And it's tempting, of course. It's extremely tempting because it allows you to maintain a lot of control. But the problem is that then it leads to a lot of slowdowns, cost overruns, and honestly, you don't end up getting, I think, the value out of the cloud that a lot of people are looking for around speed and agility and growth and innovation and all that stuff. So instead, when we look at our really successful customers, they move to an approach that's more like this one, where central IT evolves into a cloud center of excellence, which is composed of many different disciplines and inputs. And together, the Cloud Center of Excellence basically sets the policy for a wide variety of different areas like cost management and identity and security and resource management, all the things I have listed up there. And then they get out of the way. They've set the guidelines and the guardrails in place so that nothing will happen that you don't want to happen. But then there's this free space that your teams are able to directly access the cloud and build and operate in it without having to go through a bottleneck. So this really, we've seen, helps to enable velocity and get rid of some of those barriers. So a couple stories here. I'm going to focus on the BP one. So BP is investing really heavily in Azure, and they're using a free service called Azure Policy that I encourage all of you to check out. It basically helps them perform real-time cloud governance at scale. So they put in place policies that govern their environment and the resources that can be created in them and all the kind of rules that their governance team has put together. And then they kind of get out of the way, and they let their teams build and run and manage the cloud the way that they choose, but again, within a set of guidelines and guardrails. And it's helped them to stay in control while still migrating and innovating rapidly. So the next tool that I want to show you here is something to help you answer the question of, all right, yeah, this sounds great. What am I doing? What's happening in my organization? So this governance benchmark tool helps you assess your governance posture. It finds things like potential issues and also gives you recommendations and best practices and helps you put in place that kind of initial posture. Back over to you.
Thank you. Okay, great. So for the governance benchmark tool, same thing. We're going to start from the Azure.com Cloud Adoption Framework landing page, scroll down to the tooling section, and then we will go ahead and open up the governance benchmark tool. This one, the experience is slightly different. We haven't been able to port this over to our new platform yet. We will be doing that as quickly as we can, but same deal. We start with a set of profile information. As I mentioned earlier, this one actually does an industry gap analysis in addition to providing you customized guidance at the end. So let's just pick a few things here. As opposed to the other one where you were able to select all of your categories, depending on the role you select in this one, it will default you to a selection of categories. You can add other ones at your discretion. But for example, data professional, we expect you won't necessarily need to look at all of those other categories as operating inside that role. So when we get started here, this assessment actually leverages a number of multiple choice, and then as we get into the next screen, in order to do a gap analysis, we use a Likert scale and measure where you're at versus where you want to be. So for deployment acceleration, let's say we think this is critical and this is very important. This will dictate kind of where we land. And then we get to kind of estimate what our cost management might look like. how we're allocating our resources to what's, like, are we modernizing, do we have legacy on-prem, experimentation, et cetera. And then this screen is evaluating where you're at today. So the previous one was where you wanted to move towards, and this is where you are today. So let's say we have no process on a few of these. And that's all it is to get the results. So we didn't answer all those other categories. So the gap analysis only operated on deployment acceleration here. And you can see our business priority is much higher. So there's a much larger gap. I mean, there's a large gap between where we are today and where we want to be. So it really enables you to think about the things that you need to be doing. I also ran a full one of these, so we can look at it kind of across the board here, and you can use this to target the areas where you have the most room for growth. So in this case, our security baseline fell far short, and that's probably where we should start. Okay.
Awesome.
Back to you, Dante.
All right, and that is the governance benchmark tool. So you can also find that from that same Cloud Adoption Framework page we talked about at the beginning. Okay, so now I want to talk about reliability. That's another big part of the idea of being well managed and well operated in the cloud. So this number, you may have seen it in some other sessions if you've attended some of the reliability sessions this week. 99.998% represents the average uptime of a VM across our fleet on kind of a trailing 12-month average. And there's a lot of different ways to look at this number and think about this number. On the one hand, just kind of with no frame of reference, I think that that's kind of amazing. It represents a lot of innovation and investment that the teams have put in place to drive that number as high as possible. And of course, we're trying to get that fifth number there, that 8 up to 9 as soon as we can. But the other way to think about it is that it's unlikely this number will ever be 100%. There's always going to be something that happens. There's always going to be hardware issues or software issues, or there will be, someone's going to make a mistake somewhere along the way. And so maybe we'll have 19 9s and then an 8 at that point, but there will always be that delta between 100% and what we're able to deliver. And that doesn't mean we're not going to keep investing and pushing that number as high as we can. What it means to me is that we all need to think about the reliability of the apps and workloads that we run in the cloud and how we prepare for things like change and failure. And so the way that we see really successful customers think about this is that they think about the availability needs of their individual applications and workloads. And so a lot of times what that means is thinking about what are the kind of business requirements behind it. How fault tolerant, how failure tolerant is that particular app or workload? And obviously, we offer a lot of services and options that you can enable to try to drive your availability of a particular app or workload higher. But often they come with an additional cost. Often they come with kind of a complexity tax. And so there is a trade-off there between kind of the availability and the cost. And so in this graph, there's a couple different examples here. You can see that there's different categories in some ways you can bucket your workloads into. There could be your non-time sensitive stuff, which is like your batch processing, where if there's some kind of a hiccup, it doesn't really matter that much, and it'll keep going the next free chance it gets. So then maybe it's not worth really investing heavily in the reliability there. But then on the other end of the spectrum, there's probably mission critical stuff, like if you have an online commerce site or run ATM transactions. And if something were to go wrong there, that might mean customer impact, it might mean revenue impact. And so in that area, perhaps it's worth beefing it up and really investing. And then somewhere in the middle, there might be things like your core business operations, so things like your line of business apps. And maybe it's a major headache if something goes wrong there, but it doesn't necessarily have like a direct customer impact or something like that. And so it receives kind of middling investment. And it's possible that looking at this, you disagree with these, and that's totally fine, because that's all part of making that decision, that active choice about where to invest and where not to invest when it comes to reliability. So I hope you're starting to gather that there's this shared responsibility between Microsoft and all of you when it comes to the topic of reliability and resiliency and availability. So Microsoft invests very heavily in that first layer, the resilient foundation. which is things like our data centers and the practices we put in place there, and our deployment practices and maintenance practices. And of course, our goal is to make that as rock solid as possible. And then we also build and operate resilient services on top of those. Those are things like solutions for high availability and backup and disaster recovery. And those are the things that they're not mandatory, they're optional. You can enable them if you so choose. And that's where your decisions come in regarding your application, which effectively sits on top of both of those layers there and will ultimately determine the kind of availability that you experience. So that's a good picture, I think, of the shared responsibility that we all have when it comes to reliability. And so reliability is a big decision that you make for each app or workload, and especially when it comes to the architecture of that workload or app. And so we have something called the Azure Architecture Center that offers a lot of guidance and best practices for building solutions successfully on Azure. And a new thing that's part of the Azure Architecture Center and also part of the Cloud Adoption Framework is the Azure Architecture Review, which is another assessment that's intended to help you, review and optimize your workloads across a bunch of different dimensions. But the one we're going to focus on right now, because we're talking about the topic, is resiliency or reliability. So for that, we're going to turn it back over for another demo.
Thanks. OK, so same deal. We start from the ACOM Cloud Adoption Framework page. Alternatively, you can get to this from the Architecture Center or the Assessments landing page. So there's a variety of ways you can enter into this particular tool. It is very resiliency focused, but we have 5 pillars that we evaluate in the Azure Architecture Framework, which this is based on. And you can use it really to evaluate any workload for any of these. We did a demo earlier this week on how you might use it for cost and how you'd make trade-offs against, like, the particular workload we were looking at was dispatching aid vehicles, for example. So you can use it for pretty much anything. Again, you're going to want to tag it so you can identify which workload you are assessing. For this, we'll just put demo I did tonight. We pre-filled everything. We're going to just look at resiliency. I think we have a little bit of time, so maybe we'll step through this a little bit and take some audience participation. So for business metrics here, somebody want to call out some things that they might have defined in their workloads? Has anybody set workload availability targets, for example? We got that. We got one of those. How about we'll skip some of these. Has anybody who understands what the Azure service level agreements are? A couple more folks. Okay, great. So we'll leave that we've identified your redundancy requirements, and then we'll see at the end that we actually get guidance on this particular thing. We won't go through all the questions like this, but we'll just do a couple. So how about managing your data? Anybody segregated their read operations from update operations? We got one.
We got one.
Two? A few. Okay. How about architected databases for resiliency? Does anybody know what that even means? I saw a couple. We'll click that one. Let's leave geographic replication unchecked. And then architected storage for resiliency. A couple of those. Okay. And then this assessment, as opposed to the other one, has a couple options that weren't present. So none of the above indicates that you will get guidance for all of the things that you didn't check. If it's not, and then the not applicable means you'll get none of the guidance. So we'll do not applicable on managing errors and failures. And also not applicable for disaster recovery. Maybe it's a test workload that we're evaluating, and we don't actually need a plan for disaster recovery. And we'll do none of the above for how have we ensured our application is resilient. And we're just going to skip the last two. So as you can see, we have a couple CTAs at the top. These link into the Architecture Center, Learn modules that are appropriate. And then you can see right here, the very first recommendation is around redundancy requirements in SLA, one of the things we did not check. And then also geographic replication for your databases. And then a variety of other things. As we continue to develop this platform, we'll be adding ways to auto-mitigate or not necessarily auto-mitigate, scripts, blueprints, things like that, so that you can have a direct way to mitigate each of these things, and then eventually be able to mark it as complete and use this as a checklist of things that you've already done. Okay, that's it.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Dante.
All right. So, we've covered a lot of ground here. Really talked about using the cloud adoption framework to help you align your business and your organization with your technology strategy and adopt the cloud in a kind of proven, consistent way. Talked about training up your people with Microsoft Learn and certifications. And we've also talked about how you can build and operate and manage your apps and systems on Azure with governance and reliability in mind so that you're in control and ready for things like change and failure. So I hope this all sounds super simple. I really do. But in case you need some help with this stuff, we have a lot of different options available to you, both from Microsoft and our partners. So there's two that I want to really draw attention to, on the Microsoft side, the Azure Migration Program and Fast Track for Azure, both of which are really high-touch, hands-on programs that put you right in touch with Azure engineers who are experts, and perhaps best of all, they're both free if you qualify. So I definitely encourage you to check out both of those programs. And then there's also, of course, Microsoft Consulting Services that can help you out. And our vast and awesome partner network that can go through a lot of this stuff with you, including the Cloud Adoption Framework. Many of them are trained up on how to deliver those assessments and that framework, and then can help you put that in place in your organization. And then for learning, we have a lot of partners there. You can find those on the Microsoft Learn site as well for things that are more customized and in person. So just a very short, curated list of key next steps and resources for you. Definitely check out the Cloud Adoption Framework site that has everything that we've talked about there around the documentation, but also the tools and assessments and things like that. There's the Microsoft Learn site, Architecture Center, and then, of course, in the portal you can find the Quick Start Center and some of those services like Azure Policy that we talked about as well. Last slide, I promise. I know Ignite it's Thursday, it's kind of drawing toward the end, but in case you missed any of these sessions, there are great ones to check out that go deeper into some of these different topics. They'll be available afterward on the tech community site on demand, so you can check those out when you go back or share it with other people. And I think this is the last afternoon and evening in the showcase. So if you haven't been to the Azure Migration and Adoption area or the Microsoft Learn area, I highly encourage you to go there. We've got experts there on things like the Azure Migration Program and Fast Track and the Cloud Adoption Framework that would be very happy to talk to you and answer any of your questions there. So thank you so much for coming. And I think we actually do have, we got a little bit of time. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to grab a mic, and I'll do my best we'll do our best to answer. Yeah, please.
You said that the Fast Track program had qualification for cost. What is that qualification?
Yeah, do you know that much about the? So the question was about the qualification criteria for the Fast Track program.
I don't know, but I bet we can find out.
There's definitely, that would be a great thing to go down to the booth and chat with them about. I don't know it off the top of my head, unfortunately, but we've also got a site that we can hit, which is that azure.com/fattrack. We'll also have some information on qualification there. Yes, please.
So on one of your slides, you talked about 4 nines and an 8 availability, and for banking in particular, and particularly in digital tech, a lot of cases that's not acceptable. So what do you do about getting that 5th 9 or the 6th 9 that's needed? And I'm thinking RFPs for the federal government.
Yeah, sure.
DoD, other kinds of things.
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked. So there are a lot of patterns. So everybody probably heard the question about how to get beyond that 4th 9 to the 5th 9 and so on. There are a lot of services that we offer to build on top of that. In some ways, that's kind of like your baseline. But you can also implement things like availability zones and geo-pairing. There's a lot of different architectural choices you can make in your workloads that'll help you push you well beyond that fourth nine to many other nines and give you an SLA accordingly. So we've actually had some really good sessions. Let me see if I've got one on here for it. Some of the Azure Site Recovery stuff can be interesting, but yeah, there's definitely a lot that you can do. So I'd check out the Architecture Center, check out the assessment. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, and specifically that 4 nines and an 8 was about the average uptime for any particular VM. So if you architect your workload in such a way that you're not depending on a single VM,
Right.
it's pretty easy to get past that fourth nine, up into 5 nines, et cetera. Especially if you leverage things like geo redundancy, caching, things like that.
Totally. Any other questions? Okay, cool. Well, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it.